पीडं नटवर वपु कर्णयो कर्णिकारं बिभ्रद्वास कनककपिशम् वैजयन्ती च माला रन्ध्रान् वेणोरधरसुधया पूरयन् गोपवृन्दैर्वृन्दारण्यं स्वपदरमणम् प्राविशत् गीतकीर्ति अहो वकीयं स्तनकालकूटम् जिघांसयापाययदप्यसाध्वी लेभे गतिं धात्र्युचितां ततोऽन्यम् कं वा दयालुं शरणं व्रजेम। नमः कमलनाभाय नमः नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रणोति तस्मै तद्ब्रह्म देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशम् मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। The divine souls. We'll do some Nam Sankirtan for a few minutes, and after that I'll begin this series, the part 2 of the Bhagwatam. Govinda, Govinda, Radhe Radhe Govinda. Govinda, Govinda, Radhe Radhe Govinda. Govinda, 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda. Radhe Radhe 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 Govinda, Radhe Radhe Govinda. Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda. Govinda, 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 Radhe 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 Radhe Govinda. 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 Govinda, 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda. Radhe Radhe 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 Govinda, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Govinda
Radhe Radhe Govinda, 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 Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, This is the second one-week series that I'm doing on the Bhagwatam. Last year, I talked to you for 7 days on the introductory philosophy of the Bhagwatam. So in that series, I had explained what is the Bhagwatam, why is the Bhagwatam important, what is the essence of the philosophy of the Bhagwatam. So along those lines, I covered some topics like the knowledge of the Bhagwatam is actually the explanation of the Vedas, and it's the essence of the Veda, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra. Veda is the foundation scripture of Sanatana Dharma. So I explained to you that although Veda is eternal and has all the knowledge, there's nothing that isn't in Veda. Everything we need is in Veda, yet Muhyanti Yat Suraya, even Brahma, who was the first one to receive the knowledge of the Vedas from Shree Krishna, even he, as he's speaking the verses of the Vedas, out of his 4 mouths are coming the mantras of the Vedas when Krishna gave him the Veda, yet he didn't know what he was saying, what was the meaning of Veda. Even Brahma could not correctly understand the meaning of Vedas. So, the Puran is to help us understand the meaning of Veda. Puran means the 18 Puranas. Out of those 18 Purana, the Bhagavad, Srimad Bhagavad, is the Mahapuran. It's the most important, the greatest of those Puranas. So the Puranas are also given to Brahma and to the world through Brahma, so that we can understand the knowledge, what is in Veda. So with the help of Puranas and with Shree Krishna's grace, Brahma can understand what is the meaning of the mantras of the Vedas. So he gives that knowledge of Veda to the rishis of the earth planet, and eventually it's produced in a book form. But the Puranas are also there. So Puranas are also eternal. Not only Veda is eternal, Puran is also eternal, Itihas is eternal, means Mahabharata. So the Bhagwatam is an eternal scripture, which is the explanation of the Vedas, and in fact the essence of the Veda and Upanishads. Whatever is in there, the essence of that is in the Bhagwatam. Arthoyam Brahmasutranam. Vyasji writes, because he's the author of the Brahma Sutra, the Vedanta. He writes that my explanation of the Brahma Sutra is the Bhagavatam. There have been great long Sanskrit explanations written by Jagat Gurus over the last thousands of years. Big, thick volumes of explanation on what is the meaning of Brahma Sutra by Vedavyas. So Vedavyasji says, no need. I already wrote the explanation of Brahma Sutra, it's Bhagavatam. So the Bhagavat is tops in terms of knowledge. Even with respect to the Gita, we had many Gita classes here over the years. It is said that where the Gita finishes, the Bhagavatam begins. And I explained in quite a bit of detail what that means or why that is said. Basically, you can think that whatever is in Gita is included in the Bhagavatam already, plus more. So what's more is that the Gita only speaks generally about what is our ultimate divine goal. Gita says you want to attain God, you want to get something divine. Divine knowledge, divine happiness, freedom from Maya, freedom from rebirth. You want to get free from all kinds of suffering. So to do that, you have to attain God. Gita goes that far. But Bhagavatam goes farther, saying that just saying we want to attain God is not enough. How do you want to attain God? Do you just want to get liberation and merge into God, but then you won't experience anything? Or do you want to get the divine vision of God in His almighty form? Or do you want to take part in His loving Leelas, like the saints who associate with Krishna get to? Gita doesn't go into that much detail about those things. In fact, it doesn't go into any detail about those things. It just speaks in general about attaining God. But the Bhagavatam goes beyond and says you want to attain the divine love of God, then you will get the topmost thing. So the knowledge of Bhagavatam is top. There's nothing beyond the Bhagavatam in terms of knowledge. There are some other secrets revealed by saints with respect to very intimate topics like who is Radharani. Things like that is revealed in the Rasik Varni, the writings of great saints who are at that level, who have attained the divine love of Radha Krishna. But as far as the eternal scriptures of Sanatana Dharma, Bhagavatam is top. But Bhagavatam is not only top in terms of tattva jnana, in terms of knowledge, it's also top in terms of ras. Pibat Bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho bhuvi bhavuka muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka pibat Bhagavatam rasamalayam. Bhagwatam is rasam alayam. It is the abode or the residing place of ras. Ved says, raso vai sa. God is ras. Ras means like the essence of bliss. Bliss means perfect happiness. And the essence of perfect happiness is ras, divine love. So what is that ras? Well, that is God. So Ved says that. But here Vedavyasji is writing, when he says rasamalayam, this is the third shlok of the Bhagavad. He says this Bhagavad is rasam alayam. So Ved tells that God is ras, but that ras is not in the Vedas. Ved is like a dry knowledge, just an intellectual explanation of who is God, what is God, all the phenomena, material phenomena, divine phenomena. It's described in a dry intellectual way in Vedas and Upanishad, same in Brahma Sutra, same in Gita. It's very dry the way it's presented. Of course it's divine, but it's not, there's no ras in it. So that ras, when we're saying God is ras, where is that ras kept? In the Bhagwatam. Bhagavat means of God. So in other words, Bhagavan himself is in the Bhagavatam. Shree Krishna himself is in the Bhagavatam. So he is ras. It means he is the nectar of divine love, and that nectar is in the Bhagavatam. See, Vedavyasji had revealed all the knowledge already. Muhyatya jnana sagare. But Bhagavad Mahatmya says, Vedavyasji was still unsettled. He was feeling restless, like his job was not done. He had taken avatar, he's a descension of God, and he had taken avatar on this earth planet for the purpose of revealing or reproducing all of the Sanskrit scriptures. So he had reproduced Vedas, Upanishads in their totality, taught them to his disciples. The Darshan Shastras, he had written Brahma Sutra, the other 17 Puranas, the Mahabharata, the Gita. Imagine one individual producing all that knowledge, 100,000 mantras in Ved, 400,000 shlokas in Puran, another 100,000 shlokas in Mahabharata, 25,000 more in Valmiki Ramayana, which he reproduced. All of that, and yet he was feeling like his work wasn't done. So Naradji comes to him. Naish karmyam apyatyuta bhava varjitam na shobhate jnanamalam niranjanam. Naradji says, Vedavyasji, that knowledge may be the highest knowledge, but if it is bereft of that ras, of Shree Krishna's Leelas, then na shobhate. It's missing something. It hasn't reached the highest thing yet. That knowledge is bereft of ras. Then in fact, see later on in the Bhagwatam, remember in the beginning, Sutji answered a question by Shaunakadik, who had said, you know, Sutji Maharaj, you know all the Puranas, all the Vedas, so please answer one question for us. You see, it's Kali Yuga, and the souls of Kali Yuga, they live a very short time compared to other yugas. And as long as they live, they don't remain healthy. Their body gives them a lot of pain and problems. Their mind gives them a lot of problems because the mind of the souls living in Kali Yuga is very distracted. They have trouble focusing. They don't like to undertake too many difficult things. They want things to be easy for them. He's describing the souls of Kali Yuga. And he says on top of this, how can they know what is the right path? There are so many paths described in the scriptures and by saints. So what is the easiest path for the souls of Kali Yuga to follow? So he answered, Savai punsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje ahaitukya vyavahita ya bhakti purushottame. He says selfless bhakti is the easiest path, the only supreme dharma, the supreme path for all the souls of Kali Yuga is selfless devotion. Selfless bhakti, which means devotion with a desire to receive that ras, not with a desire to, get any worldly thing from God. That is the supreme path, and that is the only easiest path for all the souls of Kali Yuga. This was in the very beginning of the Bhagwatam. And in the very end, in the second last chapter, Sut Ji, concluding things in his discussion with Shaunakadik, after he related the whole Bhagavad to them, he again says, re-quoting what Narad Ji had told Vedavyas, Naish karmyam apyatyuta bhav varjitam na shobhate jnanamalam niranjanam. And he goes on to say, Mrisha girastahya sati rasat katha na kathyate yad bhagavan adhokshaja. And vibhriyan nadhira. He says, Shaunakadik Paramahans, that knowledge which is bereft of the nectar, the sweet nectar of Krishna's loving Leelas, he says, it is asat katha. Asat, sat means right, true. Asat means not right. So he says it doesn't matter how high that knowledge is. It may be the knowledge of Vedas, Upanishads, Gita, Brahma Sutra. Here, through these words, Vedavyas is condemning all of those scriptures. Not condemning in this way that the knowledge is wrong. No, it's not wrong. But just like you can say, let's say you have a diamond in one hand, and in the other hand you have a clump of dirt. So you could say, ye mithya hai, or ye satya hai. So it means this diamond is the real thing, and this dirt I have in my other hand, well, it's not fake, it's real. But compared to the diamond, it's mithya. Meaning, what is its value compared to the diamond? So compared to the value of the diamond, this clump of earth is mithya. It's fake. It's of no use. So here, Shaunakadik Paramahans are hearing from Sut Ji that all this great knowledge of our Upanishads, Vedanta, Brahma Sutra, everything, Gita, since it is bereft of the ras of Shree Krishna's Leelas, so he says it's asat. He also says it's asati, which means vyabhicharini. It's not faithful to Shree Krishna, because leaving aside the wonderful rejoicing Leelas of Shree Krishna and just getting all tied up in all the intellectual theory, says, that doesn't appeal to the mind of a devotee. Vipriyan nadhira. He says someone who has this knowledge, who is wise, he doesn't get involved in such intellectual theories. Although we have to understand enough knowledge, we need the right knowledge in order to practice the path. But the knowledge in itself is not an end. The knowledge is supposed to get us to the point where we desire to hear Krishna's Leelas. And those Leelas in their finest form are in the Bhagwatam. Vyasji also told Shree Krishna's Leelas in other Puranas also. Brahma Vaivarta Purana has a lot of Krishna's Leelas. They're there in many of the Puranas. But they're there in more of a reporting style. Those other Purana are not called Rasam Alayam. In other words, the ras of those Leelas is not there. The description of the Leela is there, but the actual ras, you can say it's there in a very restricted way. But in the Bhagwatam, the actual ras of Krishna's Leelas is there. So that is why Vedavyas was not satisfied, even though he had told many of the same Leelas that are in Bhagwatam are told in other Puranas. Yet he wasn't satisfied. So Naradji told him, you have to write Bhagwatam, where you explain all of Krishna's main Leelas, from his appearance to his disappearance, in chronological order, which wasn't done in any other Puran. And keep the ras of those Leelas, imbue the ras of those Leelas in your telling in the Bhagwatam. So first Vedavyasji did bhakti to Shree Krishna, got the divine vision of Shree Krishna. Then he wrote Bhagavatam. And as he told those Leelas, he actually imbued the ras of Sri Krishna's Leelas in his writing. Then he felt that he had accomplished what he had come here to do. And his own son, Shukdev-ji, who already was a Jnani saint, he had all the knowledge of all the knowledges, and he himself was absorbed in the bliss of formless God. So he was already experiencing the bliss of God. Yet he left his Nirvikalp Samadhi, his Brahmaleen Samadhi. He left that state of divine absorbment. Why? To hear Krishna Leelas of the Bhagavatam. Imagine, he left Samadhi to go back to Shravan. Shravan comes, then you do Manan, you think about it. Then comes Nididhyasan, when you're starting to get absorbed in thinking about that thing. And then Samadhi, when you become completely absorbed. So he was already in that state of total absorbment in God. Why would he leave that state and come back to Shravan, which means to listen? Because in that state of divine absorbment, we call Samadhi, Brahmaleen Samadhi, the bliss he was experiencing of formless God was eclipsed by the bliss of Sri Krishna's Leelas. When Vedavyasji's disciples came and found Shukdev-ji lying in the forest, they sang a verse of the Bhagavatam to him. And even though he couldn't hear a sound in this whole world, the ras of that shlok that they sang actually pierced his samadhi, entered into his samadhi, and he received that bliss of Shri Krishna's divine love, and it awakened him, it evoked his samadhi. And he wanted more, so he came back to the ashram of his father, Vedavyas, and he listened to and learned the whole Bhagavatam from him. So this establishes the greatness of the Bhagavatam, that not only does it exceed all other scriptures in terms of the knowledge it has and the way it presents that knowledge, reconciling all the theories and showing clearly what is the path to God, what is the easiest path to God, and what is the highest goal. Not only does it do that, but it also has that ras that even saints are looking for. It's there in the Bhagavatam, imbued in those Leelas of Shri Krishna. Now in the Bhagavatam, it goes in chronological order, not just from Shri Krishna's appearance, it actually starts from the beginning of the universe. And it tells, how God produced the universe, how after that was done, Brahma created our little Brahmand. And then once our Brahmand was created, what are the major events that took place, what form of God descended, and what did they do, and what great saints came, all in chronological order, in the first 9 skand of the Bhagwatam, in the first 9 cantos. Then in the 10th canto comes the description of Shree Krishna's appearance. And the reason that that comes after all the other description is because all of those other forms of God are included in the form of Shree Krishna. I explained that to you in the first part of this series. So Shree Krishna, in his own self, whatever other dissensions of God are explained in the Bhagwatam, they're all incorporated into Shree Krishna's avatar. It means they're all in him and they come with him. So he's called Purna avatar. All the forms of God are included in Shree Krishna's personality. And the bliss that Shree Krishna reveals while he's on this earth planet exceeds all other types of divine bliss. So in this series, what we're going to do is cover these Leelas of the Bhagwatam of the 10th canto, from Sri Krishna's appearance, going in chronological order. That's what we're going to do every day this week, every evening. We'll start from the beginning and I'll explain these Leelas to you. And the reason that I'm going to do that is that these Leelas are the means of doing devotion. So when Sut Ji said to Shaunakadik Paramahansa that the path for all the souls is to do bhakti, but how to do bhakti? So in Bhagwatam it's told, Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Haririshvara Shrotavyah Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Bhayam. Shukadeva Ji Paramahansa says to Parikshit, these are the 3 main ways to do bhakti. Shravan Bhakti, Kirtan Bhakti, and Smaran Bhakti. This is the most important thing, the practical part. Having the knowledge is important as well, but then we have to do bhakti. So in Bhagwatam, which is the scripture which reconciles all the knowledges, all the practices and paths. So Bhagwatam, if you ask Bhagwatam how to do bhakti, although in one place in Bhagwatam there's Navadha Bhakti described, 9 ways of doing bhakti. In another place there's 25 ways of doing bhakti, 30 ways of doing bhakti. But Bhagwatam condenses, just says 3 ways is enough. Shravana Bhakti, which means listening. Either listening to the philosophy, as you are right now, or listening to the Leelas, as you will be in a minute when I start telling Krishna Leelas. This is Shravana Bhakti, and it's one way of doing bhakti. Kirtan Bhakti means singing those same Leelas, or singing the names of God. And Smaran means lovingly remembering God, either in silence. You can think about his Leelas without singing them, or without hearing someone else describe them. You can think about it in your own mind. Or while you're doing the Kirtan, obviously you should be thinking about God, otherwise it's an empty chanting. It's an exercise of your voice. So we're supposed to be doing Smaran of Sri Krishna's Leelas, or of his form, while we're chanting. So the Smaran means your mind is engaged in thinking of Krishna, understanding the philosophy, remembering his Leelas. That's Smaran. And then Kirtan means singing from your voice. And Shravan means listening to either the philosophy or to the Leelas. So listening to the Leelas, singing those Leelas, and remembering and thinking about those Leelas, that is how you do bhakti. Sut Ji explained to Shaunakadik Paramahans why this is important. Shrinvatam swakatham Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridyanta sthohya bhadrani vidhunoti suritsatam Nashtaprayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktair bhavati naishthiki. A beautiful explanation of the effect of chanting Krishna's Leelas or listening to them, and especially remembering them in your heart. So, Shrinvatam Swakatham Krishna. Now, after having received correct knowledge, that's why the first part of this Bhagwatam series, I focused on the knowledge part. Because the knowledge has to come first. We understand the value of attaining God. Why should we attain God? What do we want from God? Then comes the desire to do bhakti. Kind of like if you feel hungry, then you have a desire to eat. So the hunger comes from the knowledge. If you know the value, what will I get if I attain God? Then you have a desire to attain God. So if you have a desire, that means you're hungry. And if you're hungry, then you want to eat. So that wanting to eat, that means you want to do bhakti. You want to follow the path to get to God. So we need that knowledge, then comes the desire to do bhakti. So it means the next thing that comes is a desire to hear Shree Krishna's Leelas. So what happens when someone starts listening to those Leelas? Their heart purifies. Vidhunoti. We have many impurities in our heart. All our past lives, all the thoughts we've had, all the actions we've done, many of them were wrong, negative, bad. All of that pollutes our heart. Many of the things we've done and thought in this life pollutes our heart. All of that is stored in here. And in the same heart, we want to receive God's grace. So first we have to clean that out, then God can come and sit in here. It's like if I called you for satsang, but we didn't have a room like this for you to sit. And I said, come and listen, I'm going to tell you something about God. And there was no place for you to sit. You would say, why did you call us all here for satsang? You didn't even prepare properly so we can all come and sit somewhere. In the same way, we want God, but where is God going to come? There's too much garbar in here. We have to clean that out. So how do we clean it out? Sut Ji says, listen to Krishna's Leelas. Bring his Leelas in here. Then that starts cleaning out all the worldly desires, worldly attachments, all the past pop that we've done, all of that gets vidhunoti. It gets cleaned out. And as that gets cleaned out, what happens is Krishna himself enters into your heart. So you can say his Leelas enter into your heart, and Krishna enters into your heart, and that gradually cleans everything out. And bhaktair bhavati naishthiki. You develop real bhakti through that. As the heart purifies just through listening to Krishna's Leelas. Real bhakti means affinity. Affinity means like a melting of the heart for someone that you love. That happens for Krishna when you get real bhakti. And that develops through remembering his Leelas. So this is the value of remembering the Leelas. Yatha yathatma parimrijyate sau mat punya gatha shravana bhidhanai. Shri Krishna says to Uddhav, in the 11th canto of the Bhagwatam, that by listening to my pure divine Leelas, what happens? Tatha tatha pashyati vastu sukshmam chakshuryathaivanjana samprayuktam. A person's heart is gradually purified, and he more and more realizes the presence of Shree Krishna. So in the beginning, it's like a very faint feeling and probably a very faint affinity in the heart, but that feeling of love for Krishna intensifies. And the realization and experience that he's right here with you, that intensifies. How? Just by listening to and remembering his Leelas. So before I start telling you Krishna Leelas, I want to make sure of one more thing, that we all understand the purpose of this and how we're supposed to take it in our mind. Those Leelas are never for intellectualizing. Intellectualizing means like some scholarly people, academics, they look at Krishna's Leelas or Ram's Leelas, and then they ask, why? Why did this happen like this? And then they try to come up with a reason. Or they try to find allegorical meanings for the Leelas. Allegorical meaning, let's say some scholar says, oh, Ayodhya didn't actually exist. Ayodhya is your own heart. So Ram is supposed to live in your heart. That's what it means he resides in Ayodhya. No, that's called Namaparad. It's a spiritual transgression to allegorize God's Leelas. It says in Ramayana, God himself, Ram himself, came on this earth planet and lived in a city called Ayodhya, the same city that's there today. So we don't need a scholar to give us any more meaning to it than that, other than it actually happened. Not that there aren't reasons behind everything God does, but it's beyond our understanding from where we are. Just like, imagine a 3-year-old, if everything he sees his mother and father doing, he says, Daddy, why did you do that? Mommy, why did you do that? They can't explain every little thing to him. When he grows up and his intellect develops, then he can understand why his parents do what they do. And they could explain it to him at that point, but not when he's 3 years old. Similarly, if we keep asking, oh, why did Krishna do that? Why did he do that? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Then we're actually missing the point of the Leelas altogether, because those Leelas, remember, they're rasamalayam. We're supposed to drink the ras of those Leelas simply by remembering them. We're not meant to intellectually analyze it. That just, it's like, it removes the experience part altogether. You end up staying up in here instead of in here. So the Leelas are meant to be taken in here. They're not meant to be analyzed up here. Brahma himself, even though he has a divine intellect, he did a Leela with Sri Krishna to explain this very point to us, or make it obvious to us, that anyone could understand. See, Brahma became confused seeing a childhood Leela of Krishna. Seeing that, because he was thinking, oh, Krishna is Supreme God and he's on the earth planet. Let me go and see, what is he up to? And he saw Krishna sitting with his Gwalbal friends, and the calves were over grazing somewhere. And he saw them eating lunch together. And the manner of their eating lunch was like you would expect from a bunch of young boys. Talking, laughing, sharing food together. You know, it was just such a loving, intimate scene. But Brahma got confused, thinking that here I just saw Krishna actually take food out of the mouth of one of his friends and eat it. Would God do such a thing? It doesn't seem right. So he got confused. That is Krishna really God? Why is he acting in such a childlike way? And then he tried to test Krishna, but then it ended up being Brahma who got tested. And then he realized his mistake, that, oh, I applied my intellect in Krishna's Leelas. I asked why. Why is he doing that? So he showed that if he can't understand Krishna's Leelas with his intellect, then why should any ordinary soul make that attempt? When Parvati, at that time she was called Sati, when she and Shankarji, they came to have the darshan of Bhagwan Ram while he was in the jungle looking for Sita. Re vriksha parvatastha girigah nadata vayuna vijyamana ramoham vyakulatma dasharath tanayah shoka shukrena dagdha Bimboshthi charunetri suvipula jaghana baddhanagendra kanchi ha sita kena nita mama hridaya gatam ko bhavan kena drishta. Valmiki Ramayana. What did Sati see Ram doing? In separation from Sita, missing her so much, he was asking the mountains and the trees and the plants, have you seen my Sita? Kena drishta, have you seen her? Did she walk by here? Which way did she go? So Sati thought to herself, Jo Brahma Vyapak Aj Akal Aniha Abheda Soki Deha Dhari. She says, but I'm confused. On one hand, Ram looks like an ordinary man to me. He's the son of a king. And he's grieving for the loss of his wife like an ordinary person would, or you can say even looking even more worldly than an ordinary person, because he's in so much grief that he doesn't even, organize a proper search. He's just asking the trees and the mountains. So on one hand, I'm seeing that, and on the other hand, I'm seeing God Shiva, who I know is God, who's bowing down, doing namaskar to him and saying, oh, look at Supreme God, Ram. So is he God or is he an ordinary man? He says, as Parvati says, as far as I know, according to the description in the Vedas, God is omnipresent. Yet I see this Ram at one place. God is not attached to anything. Yet I see him grieving for the loss of his wife. So I don't think he can be God. No, maybe he is. Oh, let me test him and find out. So she came, took the form of Sita, because actually Parvati herself and Sita are one. So Parvati came, Sati came and took the form of Sita, seeing where Ram and Lakshman were going to walk by. And as soon as Ram saw Sati sitting there in the form of Sita, he wasn't fooled one bit. He said, oh Mataji, what are you doing sitting here all alone? Where is Shankar? Then she realized her mistake. She had applied her intellect in analyzing Ram's Leelas. Bhakte tu Bhagavan Prabhu Ram dhare utanu bhup kiye charit pavan param prakrit nar anurup. Prakrit nar anurup. Oh Ram, you come here on the earth planet and you do Leelas just like an ordinary man would. In other words, your actions look ordinary to an ordinary person. But they're not. Kiye charita pavan param. Your actions are supremely purifying. Soi gunagai bhagat bhav tarahi kripa sindhu janhit tanu dharahi. By singing those Leelas and remembering those Leelas, your devotees cross this ocean of Maya because they're supremely purifying. They purify the heart. And simply by remembering these Leelas, a devotee can cross the ocean of Maya and attain God's divine love. So that is how we should take the Leelas, that they're that great, they have the power to do that. And we shouldn't intellectualize them. We should take them at face value and simply bring them in our heart and see what do we get in here when we lovingly remember those Leelas, faithfully remember them. And if we have a curiosity about why this happened or how this happened, we can get that question answered when we get to Krishna's level. See, Krishna performs all of his Leelas with his Yogamaya Shakti. Aghatita Ghatana Patiyasi. This Yogamaya Shakti gives Sri Krishna the power to do anything. Karmanyani hasya bhavo bhavasyate Durga shrayo thari bhayat palayanam Kalat mano yat pramadayuta shraya Swatman rate khidyati dhir vidaniya. This is from the Bhagwatam, and Brahma is saying, khidyati dhir. Even the greatest intellectual, the greatest scholar, if he tries to analyze your actions, Krishna, khidyati, his intellect fails in that task. Why? Because you perform all your actions through Yogamaya. See, through Yogamaya, he can do ulta karma. Karmanya nihasya bhavo bhavasyate. It means, Krishna, you have no desire, yet you are performing karma. It's ulta. We souls, we don't perform any karma without a desire. Prayojana manuddishya mandopi na pravartate. Darshan Shastra says, no one does anything without some aim in mind. So you have a desire, and according to that desire, you do your action, because you want to get something. But, O Krishna, Brahma says, you have no desires, yet we see you performing karma. You do so many actions, you create the universe, you take avatar, you do so many things while you're here. You got married to 16,108 queens, had 10 children with each of them. Why are you doing all of this? Fighting Mahabharat war? You have no desire of your own, yet you're doing all this karma. So Brahma says, khidyati. If someone tries to understand it, they can't. You are unborn and eternal. You were never born, you have existed forever, Krishna. You are Adi Purush. Tamekam Govindam Satchidananda Vigraham, Ved says, and Brahma says in his Brahma Samhita that Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. You are Adi Purush, O Govinda, Krishna. Everything came from you. You didn't come from anyone. So you are Aj. Yet we call you Nandalal, Yashoda Nandan. You are the loving son of Nanda Baba and Yashoda. You are Devaki Nandan. You are Vasudev, the son of Vasudev. So how can it be both ways? How can you both be unborn and eternal and born from your mother and father? A material intellect can't understand. You are Kalatma. Kal means Yamraj, death. You are his Atma, meaning you are the Lord of the god of death. Death himself trembles before you, yet you ran away from Jarasandh. Just a little demon. What's the big deal? You're God, and he's just one demon. You ran away from him, leaving Mathura behind, and ran all the way with your brother Balaram. Both of you ran all the way to Dwarika and you didn't even stop when you got to the coast. You went out on the island and made yourself a whole new city and kingdom out there and never went back to Mathura. Why? Because of Jarasandha. So you are the Lord of the God of Death, yet you feared a lowly demon. You are Atmaram Purnakam. You're self-content. It means you feel happy in and of yourself. Yet you are seen to be doing ras with the gopis, getting married to the queens in Dwarika. So these two situations don't go together, yet they do because of Yogamaya Shakti. Yogamaya allows two opposite situations to exist simultaneously, which is not possible in this world. In this world, if someone has a desire, then they will do something. If someone they have a desire, they'll get married and have kids. If someone has no desires, like Shree Krishna, how could he get married? Why would he do ras? So we don't have Yogamaya, therefore we can't understand. We do all of our actions with Maya Shakti. Krishna does all of his actions with Yogamaya Shakti. So the two can't be compared. That's why we say, oh, Prahlad, he was God realized at the age of 7, and after that he became king, got married and had children. It's not possible, not after God realization. No, because he would have been fully content and satisfied. What need would he have had to become king, get married, had children? He would have had no need. Then why did he do it? That why cannot be answered to a person who does not have Yogamaya Shakti. We have Maya Shakti. So everything we do is conditioned by that. Prahlad was God realized, so he had Yogamaya Shakti. So he could do all of that without having any worldly desire whatsoever. No lust, no desire, no greed, yet he ruled for thousands, millions of years. So that is possible through Yogamaya Shakti, and all of Sri Krishna's actions are done through Yogamaya Shakti. So although we cannot understand them intellectually until we get to that level, and he gives us Yogamaya Shakti when we become God realized, yet we can still benefit from those Leelas if we take them in the right way. If we take them faithfully, without analyzing them, we just meditate on them and lovingly remember them, then we receive the benefit of heart purification, and the Bhakti starts growing in our heart, and that's the path that we follow until our heart is fully purified, and then we'll be able to get two things. The ultimate unlimited bliss of those Leelas, will actually experience that upon God realization. Until then, we're like getting a little glimpse of that. That's growing, but it's still not the totality of it. And we'll get the knowledge. We'll actually understand. Although at that point, we won't care to understand because we'll be drowned in the bliss of Sri Krishna's Leelas. So, in the last 1 week series last year when I was here, I actually did cover Sri Krishna's appearance. I had explained that Sri Krishna appeared in the jail cell in Kansa's dungeon in front of Devaki and Vasudeva. Before he actually manifested his body and appeared physically before them, he had entered into Devaki and Vasudeva. Before that, there was no embryo inside. I explained all of this last time. If you had taken an ultrasound of Devaki's belly, you would not have seen little Krishna growing in there. Using his Yogamaya Shakti, he manipulated the space or the air inside Devaki's stomach, inside her belly, so that she felt and experienced everything that a normal mother would experience in a normal pregnancy, except no discomfort. But her belly got bigger and bigger and bigger, and she could feel like there's a baby moving inside. Then, when it was almost time for Shri Krishna's appearance, then he impregnated Devaki's mind with his divine bliss, you can say. And also entered into Vasudevji's mind. And people could see, the guards could see, oh, they're glowing. Something is going to happen. So at that time, it's called Garbhastuti. Brahma, Shiva, the celestial gods, they came and they worshipped Krishna. They sang his praises. Then they left. And after that time, Shri Krishna appeared in his full-grown form. He wasn't born as a little baby, he appeared in his full-grown form before Devaki and Vasudeva. So then they also prayed to him, praised him. And then Devaki said to him, Upasanhara Vishvatman Nadorupamalaukikam. Please become a little baby. You're already full grown. I haven't even got to experience having you as my little baby, my little boy yet. So I don't want you to come to me in this full grown form. I want you to become like a little baby. Krishna did that. He became a little baby, just like a newborn baby in Devaki's lap. And then out of the fear that Kans would come and kill this baby as he had the first 6. The 7th, of course, Balaram, had been transferred by Yogamaya Shakti into Rohini's womb, and he appeared there in Braj. Rohini was staying with Nanda Baba and Yashoda already. So Krishna was the 8th child of Devaki and Vasudeva, and out of fear of Kans, Vasudeva wanted to get Krishna out of there. So Yogamaya Shakti, again, arranged the situation, made the guards fall asleep. The chains that were, the fetters, the bonds that were holding Vasudeva, they just released. The locks of the jail opened, and Vasudeva put young baby Shri Krishna in a basket and just walked out. Just like nothing, just walked out of the jail. All the guards were asleep, all the doors opened for him. It was raining, pouring down rain outside, a terrible storm. And when he got to Yamuna, of course it was August, which is the flood season, rainy season, so Yamuna was overflowing her banks. Yet, Yogamaya Shakti created a path. Actually, what happened, Sheshnag came and protected Krishna from above, keeping the rain off of him. And then Yamuna, after getting a little touch of Krishna's foot, then went down and gave away, let Vasudevji cross Yamuna. And he went in the night like that to the house of Nanda Baba and Yashoda, and finding Yashoda asleep with a baby beside her, that baby was actually Yogamaya in personal form. So Vasudevji left baby Krishna there and took Yogamaya back with him. Now Yashoda had been, because her mind was also absorbed in the divine bliss, she had felt like, oh, my pregnancy is over. Although, again, Yogamaya was not born like a normal baby either. But she just felt like, oh, now there's a child beside me. My child is born. But she was just half asleep, half awake. She didn't know, is it a girl, is it a boy? So when Vasudevji made the change, it was all the same for Yashoda. When she woke up in the morning, she just saw, oh, I had a baby boy. And he took Yogamaya back with him and crossed Yamuna, went into the jail, and all the doors closed behind him. His bonds came back, the chains came back on his ankle. The guards woke up and then they saw that, oh, the baby's born. So then when Kans came to kill that baby, then Yogamaya showed her true form. She flew up in the air and told Kans, you're a real fool. The one that you're afraid of, the 8th child of Devaki and Vasudeva, he's already appeared in Braj. So your death is imminent. So Kans was so afraid, and then Yogamaya just disappeared into the sky. And then in Gokul, the night passed, and Yashoda woke up in the morning and found that, oh, my child is born. And there was baby Krishna lying there. So that morning, the news spread so fast that Nanda and Yashoda have had a baby boy. And that baby boy is our beloved Shree Krishna. Because all the residents of Braj were not ordinary villagers. They had all come ahead of Shree Krishna. Meaning when Radha and Krishna decided to descend on the earth planet, it wasn't like a last minute thing. Oh, want to go on the earth planet? Sure, let's go. Yeah, let's go. No, it was pre-planned. They knew at this particular time, at the end of Dwapar Yuga, we're going to go on the earth planet. So they had sent many, many millions of their saints on the earth planet ahead of them. So the Gwalbals, who grew up with Krishna, they were saints from the divine world who came here on the earth planet, either ahead of Krishna or around the same time, and they grew up with him. Their parents, the Gops and Gopis of Braj, they had come ahead of time. So there were generations of saints populating Braj in anticipation, waiting for Sri Krishna to come. So then they heard, oh, Krishna is born to Mother Yashoda. So the news spread so fast all over Braj. Everybody heard about it and everybody wanted to come. So Nanda Baba that morning, he woke up. He saw, he was so happy because he and Yashoda were already quite aged. So they had basically just thought that, oh, I guess we won't have another child. We won't have a child. You know, Rohini had already given birth to Balaram, and they thought, I guess we'll just be childless. So at that age, to have a child, it was such a great thing. They were so happy. So Nandaji, he went, had his bath, got dressed in his best clothes, and he called thousands of Brahmins to come because you have to perform all the auspicious ceremonies. So they came and they were doing Swasti Vachan, they were singing all the auspicious verses of Vedas, and they did Jata Karma Sanskar, the rites and rituals you have to do when a child is born. So you can see, you know, there was such a big scene there, even before everybody else started arriving. Nanda Baba gave away 200,000 cows to those Brahmins and 7 huge piles of sesame seeds that he had wrapped very nicely in beautiful cloth. So all of this was going on, and the rest of the residents of Braj, they were of course thinking, well, we don't want to miss out. So they were quickly getting ready. The Gwals, the grown men, they got dressed in their best clothes, you know, put on their best dhoti, put on a long coat to look nice and formal, put on a pagadi. Before leaving their house, everybody went, you know, swept the gate area, swept the angan, swept everything inside the house, bathed their cows and bulls and calves, and then smeared, they have like a tel and haldi mixture, so they smeared that, rubbed that into the cows as an auspicious thing to do, and then decorated them with some red clay. They get the natural thing you can get from the ground, ochre, and made nice designs on the cows, and then put nice, beautiful, you know, some material covering them. And even they put some peacock feathers here and there, decorating the cows, and used gold chains for the feathers of the cows. So they were all decorated. The gopis got dressed in their best clothes, got all ready to go and meet Sri Krishna. Everybody filled their arms with gifts for Nanda, Yashoda, and Sri Krishna, and they just ran. It said that the gopis were running. They were in such a hurry to get there, and they were, you know, their kundal of their ears were jiggling, and their malas were jiggling, and they had braids, and in their braid of their hair they had put flowers, so they were in such a hurry. Even their braid was getting loosened, and the flowers were coming out. Everybody was rushing to go have the darshan of Sri Krishna. So they arrived there, and everybody was, you can imagine the crowd going on there. There were, you know, people performing playing dundubi, playing bheri, playing horns, playing on big drums. There were dance troops. There were, troops singing, performing. It was such a great, loud, festive occasion. So the gopis came and offered their presents. The gopis came and offered their presents. Everybody came and had darshan of Shree Krishna. The men were so happy, they started taking milk, dahi, water, ghee, makhan, and they just started throwing it on each other, like it was holy, you can say. Throwing it on each other, smearing it in each other's faces. The gopis had like some water with some chandan mixed in, and they were just going and sprinkling that on everybody. So you can imagine inside the big huge house of Nanda and Yashoda, outside the house, everywhere around, just people milling around. Some coming in to get darshan of baby Krishna, some having gotten darshan coming out, people throwing dahi and makhan on each other, throwing water on each other, everybody singing, dancing, enjoying the festival of Sri Krishna's birthday celebration. So this was the scene that very first morning that Krishna had come to Braj. So from that morning forth, for every day that Sri Krishna was in Braj, you can say that that festival never ended. The joy, the festivities just went on. The Leelas changed, but that sense of excitement that everybody had in Braj, that went on from the day Krishna appeared through all of his Leelas. So after that, a few days after Sri Krishna's appearance, Nanda Babaji, he had to go to Mathura to give the tax, the yearly tax to Kants. And while he was away in Mathura, something amazing and almost terrible happened in Braj while Nandaji was away. So what that was that happened on the 6th day after Sri Krishna was born, I'll tell you tomorrow, as well as the other Leelas that came after that. So now we're going to sing a Leela, which is actually put in the form of a song by Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj, describing Krishna's birthday celebrations in the house of Nanda and Yashoda. So someone can distribute those sheets. You just did Shravan of the Leela of Sri Krishna's birthday celebration. So now we'll do Kirtan of that, and while we're doing the Kirtan, do Smaran. You should be thinking deeply about this Leela, imagining what would it have been like to be there. In fact, you can experience a little bit of the ras of that through this Leela, depending on your own faith of your own heart. Nanda Mahar Ghar Bajat Vadhai, 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 Bajat Vadhai, aaj Bajat Vadhai, Bajat Vadhai, aaj Bajat Vadhai, Nanda Mahar Ghar Bajat Vadhai, Nanda Mahar Ghar Bajat Vadhai, Jaayo Put Aaj Nanda गावत लोग लुगाई नाचत गावत लोग लुगाई नाचत गावत लोग लुगाई नाचत गावत लोग लुगाई नंद हर घर भजत बधाई 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 भजत बधाई आज 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 भजत बधाई नंद हर घर 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 भजत बधाई दूध दही माखन की कालो 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 सब मीठानो मास मचाई सब मीठानो मास मचाई सब मीठानो मास मचाई सब मीठानो मास मचाई नंद हर घर भजत बधाई 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 आजत झांझ मृदंग पंगरी आजत झांझ मृदंग पंगरी आजत झांझ मृदंग पंगरी आजत झांझ मृदंग पंगरी वीणा वेणु शंख शहनाई वीणा वेणु शंख शहनाई वीणा वेणु शंख शहनाई वीणा वेणु शंख शहनाई नंद हर घर भजत बधाई 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 चिरकत जोआ चंदन चिरकत चिरकत जोआ चंदन चिरकत चिरकत जोआ चंदन चिरकत चिरकत जोआ चंदन चिरकत करी जयकार कुसुम बरसाई करी जयकार कुसुम बरसाई करी जयकार कुसुम बरसाई करी जयकार कुसुम बरसाई बोलो कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की।